Hi. Right, it's a bit later now. I'm just gonna, because I'm just starting. If I don't do a little video now, you won't actually catch up on what's happening. So here's the bonnet. So this is part 2. Now what I did was I sewed down along here, so it pulled it together. And then what was left, whatever felt like it was sticking out, because I don't know, if you look at part 1 you'll see it's kind of got these bits sticking out. It's a bit Dutch, or it's kind of got like horns almost at the side. You know. So what I did was I made little darts. I pulled it together so that's inside. Okay, on one side you can see that's, so I pulled it over, whatever sort of, and to get the right shape, played around with it, and then sewed it down. Okay, now you can see it's got a much better shape than it did in part 1. Now how I did that was I made the darts and everything, and then when I'd done that, if you saw my little sponge earlier on that I used as the bun thing, I sort of stuck that in the back just to puff it out a little bit, because it didn't want to come out at the back. So there it is. It's got that lovely old linen smell. Okay, and I think it must have been part of an old tablecloth or something. But anyway, I found it in my workbox, which was like, great, I'll use that. So I'll just see, my arm is working really well. I'm so pleased. Okay, so what I've done, as you see, is I've pinned, oh no, there's Slim Slow Slider as well. So she rides as white as snow. Wonderful tune. Right, all of the tunes. I love Astral Weeks. Anyway, I'm fine. I'm sorry, but you've got to go down a little bit. My fingers are like so sore. I've stuck the pins in needles in the needle in my fingers so many times. They are really sore. But I'm determined. I'm the kind of person who goes, I'm going to do it. And I do it as much as I'm able. So all I've got is it's just like a curtain at the moment. Look, there's too much, which is great because I need the other half. There's a crease across the piece of material, and I'm just going to cut it along the crease. Right, okay, just in case you're not sewers, I'm just going to show you. Sewers skip on a little bit. So I've pulled a hem and pinned it. I've pinned it for you now because I wouldn't pin it myself normally. Now how to do that is you turn it, I'll show you on the other end. You turn it a little once and then you turn it again. Okay, now look, if you leave it baggy, you can get errors. No, you don't. So you don't do that. You pull it tight a little, look, and then it goes like this. Now then you can put a pin in it if you wish. And the other thing you can do is you pull it over your knee. Right, okay, so look, you pull it over your knee and you do that. Okay. Now, okay, this is if I was doing it by hand. I am doing it by hand because I don't quite, look, okay, I might have put, I'm getting over a brain up, and I'm on lots of drugs and my vision's a bit weird sometimes, so I can see double, I can see going round, and I can see in weird ways, so I'm not using the machine. right now, which is a pain. Okay, those of you who've never run a gather before, again, those who have, just skip on. Okay, so take the pins out as you get to them, stick them in your pin cushion. If you haven't got a pin cushion, find a sponge. Okay, it's better than putting them in a tin or something, because the tins, you're going to tip it over at some point. You're going to have pins everywhere and you're bound to sit on one. Okay, so look, this is what you do. You just go in and then onto the other side, over and over, with just the tip of your needle. Can you see this? I'm trying to do it so you can see it. There we go. All along at the same. Now, if you haven't, just do it at the same, in the same place. Okay. So I mean the same, you know, along the edge. So you just, like, say, half a centimetre or whatever you're doing it at. Okay, so right now, when you've done your gather all along, hold the first end. Okay, run your finger around it like that, so it's round your finger. There we go, and hold on to that. Now you can't pull it off the end. Okay, because otherwise you're going to do that at some point or another. And then what you need to do is you just need to even out the gather all the way along. Oh, we've all seen those in little, you know, country kitchens and things like this. The other end, what you can do is you can just do an over and over so. Right, if you don't do an over and over type of, ow, God, that's really hard. That's where my scar is from my brain up. Okay, right, the other thing you can do is, of course, tie a knot. Now, with my coordination, I do find tying knots extremely difficult.
Right, I've got one knot in there. Now that's not going to be enough. It needs to be a bit of a football on the end. You need to do 3, 4, maybe even 5 knots, depending on the, and get them in the right place. See, this is why I don't do it. This is why I do over and over sows, because it's much quicker for me. Right, now I've got 3. I've got into it now. I've got a place where I can, then I can feel it. And now you're saying, how can you sew if you have these problems? Well, the thing is, I do a lot of it by feel now. Okay, I can actually, I did that, and I stuck the needle in my fingers 5 times. That doesn't bother me. I'm used to that sort of thing, and it's nothing to the pain that
I was in every, you know, moment before I had my brain up, quite frankly. You know, sticking a pin in my finger is nothing compared to trigeminal neuralgia, I'll tell you that. Okay, now so now I've got my little curtain effect. Now this side does not, is raw, is a raw edge. Okay, it's not hemmed, but that doesn't matter, because look, in this, the bit that I've already done is edged. So what I'm going to do, you see, with the gather bit, okay, I'm going to put my raw edge, so join it on like that, so that it won't matter. And then I'm going to make sure that when it's tacked back and put in my bonnet, it's underneath. Those of you who've been watching say, you haven't given any measurements. I don't know, I haven't taken any measurements. What I've done is I've got what they called offered it up. And gone, well, that looks big enough. That piece of fabric looks big enough. I'll use that. Okay, and I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time I have actually done a bonnet, but I can kind of see what's going on because I'm an experienced sewer, and so I'm trying to pass that on to you. Okay, using my trusty thimble, because I tell you what, pinning through a straw hat is no mean feat. And when I sew this on in a minute, I'm not going to go through all the layers. I'm just going to pick a little bit of the straw, because it is tricky. It is hard to sew. I mean, sewing these bits, you know, earlier on was tough. All around now, isn't that going to be beautiful? And with these lovely ties. Now, you won't be able to see the Celtic knot, unfortunately, but it's going to be beautiful, isn't it? Now, if you don't have a scarf like that, you can find some ribbon I showed earlier, or you can, you know, look, this is a really quite an Indian looking one. Now, there's too much of this. Okay, look at that. Now, how darling is that? That's got beautiful long. So I found that in a thrift shop. You'd call that in America. Here we call them slightly different things, but we call them charity shops. They're all over the place. Everybody knows about them. So that's how I've got hundreds of scarves. I've got loads and loads of them. Or you can use a piece of ribbon, as I showed earlier on. See you later. I've got to sew this on. Right, here I am. Okay, I can, ow, putting this on a little bit. You probably can't tell from that side, but it's a funnel-shaped bonnet, suitable for the 1840s, maybe a bit earlier as well. Okay, so now this would be attached to there, like that, so that it was even around the face. Okay, and around here they might have some a second layer. Can't hold that arm up, I'm sorry, exhausted today. Now after this, they might have a second layer of gathering just to of a patterned fabric, and maybe some flowers, dried flowers, and maybe some dried flowers on the excuse my hair all poking out at the back. Now I can adjust the shape of this from the inside now. Ouch! Oh, my head. The side of it. Okay, then this is the first one I've made, so it's not that bad, is it? Okay, and they would make a big bow underneath their chin. So this evening I have spent putting this in the inside. I made most of it earlier on, and then I've put, ouch, can't even hold my arm up now. I have to try and hold that like that. Okay. This is actually very rustically put in, small stitches, nice small stitches, but it's in two triangular pieces of fabric that I received yesterday. Tiny, small pieces, really. Just because you know, I'm very short of suitable fabrics for the 1840s. That isn't quite suitable for the 1840s. That's actually quite a contemporary print. However, it's in the back of a hat. I don't think it matters that much. I would not put it on show in the film, but I'm pleased with that, considering that is my first one. That's the best. Okay, of a patterned one, fabric, and maybe some flowers.